So good morning, everyone. As mentioned earlier, welcome to the PROCEDIN SME workshop, the second part on empowering innovation procurement, demystifying B2G. We have already gone through the consent and also through the workshop agenda. And without further ado, I would leave floor to Valentina Schipper-Sopejko from Haarlem Municipality and the urban agenda. So Valentina, the floor is all yours. You can share your screen.
Thank you so much. Yes, I will share my screen just a second. Thank you, Daniel, for a short introduction. I'm working for the City of Haarlem and coordinating European Network, Urban Agenda Partnership on Innovative and Responsible Public Procurement. And I'm also chair of Eurocities Working Group on Public Procurement. Today, I would like to do a short introduction to this workshop and also to the PROCEDIN, EU-funded PROCEDIN project. I just shared my screen, and I didn't use the slides, but the website of PROCEDIN project, so you can get more familiar with all the benefits of this website for you. And I also put the link to this PROCEDIN website in the chat, so you can check and copy this link. PROCEDIN project is EU-funded project with a focus on circular economy and on sustainable mobility. We are doing it together in a consortium with our precious partners and very excellent experts such as University of Twente as coordinator, F6S, Pedal Consulting, Gabrovo Municipality, and of course City of Haarlem. If you look, if you would go to this to the link I sent you in the chat, you will find a short introduction and a short video if you would like to, in a few minutes, get the impression what is it about. And you have also different announcements for workshops or training sessions or conferences or other events. So please feel free to check them, learn more about it, and also to share in your network or with your colleagues. You can also subscribe to the newsletter by leaving your email address. And also what we are especially very proud of is the resources bank. We worked in the past period on creating very interesting resources data bank, not only for public buyers or private buyers, but also for suppliers. So just would like to show you very shortly how does it work, so you can get more familiar with that. So if you go to resources bank and you, for example, would choose resources for buyers and suppliers, you have further possibility to choose more resources and information for buyers or for suppliers. As your SME or startup and join our workshop today, I suppose you would be in particular interested for resources for suppliers. If you would click on it, you will get different interesting, fresh information from different EU countries on the good practices, best practices, and also if you interested how does it work by public buyers, how does it work, you can also check, of course, also resources for buyers. Everything is open data and free of charge. Next to stakeholders map, we have also an interesting part about legal framework and training sessions. This one could be interesting for you if you would learn more about public procurement procedures, and you do not have to be afraid that it will be sad or very boring or a very complex information, because we tried to do it as accessible and clear as possible using roadmaps and also practical examples. And also would like, last but not least, also would like to show you that we also have in our resource data bank possibility where you can find different, just a second, different different European education possibilities on innovation procurement or on circular economy, on SMEs, or legal aspects, all different information, public procurement of innovation. So if you're interested, you can also check all these databases and to see how does it work. And of course, if you would like to be involved, which I can imagine, because there is plenty of interesting information we are offering for you, you can also, if you click Get Involved, you can find all the information here for innovation buyers, innovation suppliers, enablers and facilitators, and project initiatives. You can express your interest, and in case you have any questions, ta-da, we have also an part where you can contact with the contact details and possibility to ask your question. And of course, today you have also a lot of possibilities to do that as well using chat, as my colleague Daniel already mentioned. For now, a short introduction. Once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask it in the chat. And the last thing I would like to show you is the e-learning module. It's also free to use, free of charge, and very accessible. The e-learning we developed with the Urban Agenda Partnership, and we refreshed all this information together with the PROCEDIN project colleagues and partners. So if you're interested in using this e-learning module, which is also free of charge, please free to do that. I will share the link to this e-learning module just in a few seconds in the chat. For now, thank you very much, and I give a word back to Daniel, who is moderating the session today. Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you very much, Valentina, for presenting what PROCEDIN is about, what are the resources that we have, and also how those resources are complementary to the module that you have. So without without further ado, I would like to invite Sanne van Kamp from Municipality of Haarlem to present herself and also share her insights and experience when it comes to business to government model and to demystify it a bit for us. So Sanne, the floor is yours. You may share your screen.
I will share my screen and I will unmute my audio. Hi, good to be here. I hope everybody can hear me well. I would like to tell you something about the subject of demystifying business to government, and very much about how to do business with the government. And I will try to keep it in under half an hour, or in approximately half an hour. First, a small introduction, then just why would you do business as with a government? What's in it for you as a business owner? A little bit about the main guidelines of public procurement, or just as a way to give you a little bit insight on what we're dealing with as a government. So in order to have some kind of expectation management, after some guidelines about public procurement, then I would like to delve into the identifying business opportunities. I mean, most of you, I think, are businesses, and how do you do business with a government? Then something about the tendering procedures, and last but not least, how to outsmart your competitor, something like that. If you have any questions, feel free to interrupt or write something in a chat. I cannot see the chat immediately, but maybe SME can just see what is being said. So I don't mind to be interrupted by you. So first, a small introduction, just so you know who I am. I'm working for the city of Haarlem and the municipality of Zandvoort, that's in the Netherlands. And it's about an administrative collaboration, and it's a medium-sized city in the western part of the Netherlands, a local government. Who am I? I'm a strategic procurement officer, and my main goal is how to achieve general policy goals through public procurement. For example, in Haarlem, we have economic, social, and sustainable policies. And if you have to buy something, you can choose what kind of product do you want to buy. For example, you have to buy washing up liquid. You can make the choice what kind of washing up liquid you want to buy, and if you want to achieve general policy goals such as sustainable washing up liquid. So that's in general my current position. I've realized that I worked for more than 20 years in public procurement, so I pretend to know a little bit about it. I have a background in procurement law. I've also been a team manager of a procurement department, and now I'm a strategic procurement officer. So that's a bit about my background. But the main question is, why would you want to do business with the government, besides that we're very nice people and have very interesting assignments? But it's very, well, for me, quite basically, governments have a lot of money to spend. And it's up to you to decide whether you want a piece of that. For example, the annual spend of the city of Haarlem is a couple of 100 million a year. So that's not a tiny amount. And if you look at in a broader perspective, for example, in the metropolitan region of Amsterdam, it's more. And if you look at the Dutch public sector, it's even more. And then at the European public sector, we're really talking about a lot of money. So that's what I want to tell you, that it's really, I think it's an interesting market, probably. One of the other things is it might, if you have experience with certain public procurement assignments, know that you can use it over and over again. Do not copy and paste. Please adapt to the special situation. But a lot of government face the same challenges, require the same solutions, and are subject to the same rules and regulations. So at first it may be quite difficult, or maybe even a bit scary to participate in a tender, but it will get progressively easier due to your experience. And if you have secured the contract, know that it's almost impossible for a government to go bankrupt. At least in the Netherlands, it is, because if my city would go bankrupt, it's not on the brink of bankruptcy, by the way, but if there would be any problems, there is a system in place that the invoices will be paid. So that's something that might be quite interesting. You will get your money. So that's what I want to tell you. It might be really interesting to do business with the government. If nobody is interrupting, I will just proceed if you don't mind. Then a few guidelines on public procurement. I have made this sheet in order to have some realistic expectations for you as a business owner, because a lot of things we do are not mere for bureaucracy. There is an idea behind it. One of the things is we have to spend public resources wisely, best value for money. Note that it does not say cheapest options. It might be or it might be not, but you can read that in a specific tender. But it's about spending public resources wisely. We have to do a lot of bureaucracy in order to have a transparent government, so that we can have a paper trace of what we're doing, so that we can prove that there is no favoritism, no arbitrariness, no corruption, or anything like that. So that's why we need a very clear paper trail. It's also about not restricting the free competition. It's about the European common market, where we have to give businesses the same chances, so that we are not favoring one company over another. And the last one about the, maybe bureaucracy part, it's about professional conduct, about clear agreements, so that you have all the expectations on paper, and that you know what we want, and we know what you can do. And this is also part of the European rules and regulations on procurement. So this is really about what can you expect of the behavior or of the conduct of a government in public procurement. All very nice, but the main thing is, how do you identify business opportunities? Because that's what you want. You want to have contracts in order to secure revenue. One of the main things I would like to give you as a tip, go to TED, Tenders Electronic Daily. That is a European website. And as you can see, that it's available in all kinds of languages automatically. And you can find a lot of information on that, but also a lot of publications of the tenders, so that you know which assignments and which commissions are available. And if you go on the tenders Europe.eu, you can search for the subject matter, the place of performance, the language, all kind of thing. And if you do that, you can see the available tenders where you can submit your offer to. So please go to that webpage if you want to do business with a government. Above certain thresholds, it is compulsory for a government to publish on this website. Another thing is, if you, for example, the city of Haarlem has an annual spend of more than 300 million a year. So that's quite an amount. And it's not always that we have smaller assignments available. It might be that we have only contract values of a lot of money that might be a bit too much for an SME to apply to. Another thing is, on that same website, TED, Tenders Electronics Daily, you can also see the result of the tenders. That's when, so that you know about the if there are contracts and agreements of that certain tender. And for example, if I look at just an example for Haarlem, we see here that there is a winner, and we know the name of the company and where it is and what contract they have. Now, you as a business can contact that company and see if you can work for them as a subcontractor. So you can use the Tenders Electronic Daily two ways. One is to identify direct business opportunities in order to have a direct contract with a government. Two is you can identify indirect business opportunities where you can try to contact the winner and be a subcontractor for that one. So that may be very interesting for you to know and to do. Another thing is, this is an example, a lot of governments publish their purchasing calendar on their own website. This is an old picture, as you can see, from Q1 2023 of the city of Haarlem. We just have a list of tenders that might be coming in the next year or so, and that you can already try to anticipate on that tender and see what you need and be alerted to it. So how do you identify business opportunities? Tenders Electronic Daily. I think there is even some notification system. So please check that out. And the Tenders Electronic Daily is for all public procurement authorities in Europe, European Union, I should say, about their tenders above the threshold. The threshold for central government bodies for service and supply contract is 143,000 euros, and for subcentral contracting authorities is 221,000 euros for the entire contract period. So identifying business, go to the Tenders Electronic Daily or look at the a website of the contracting authority where you have interest in. And I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. So now you have, I hope, identified a business opportunity, a tender, and you would like to apply to. There are tendering documents and that you can download and read. It might be quite a lot, but it states the subject of the assignment, the procedure, the conditions, and the budget planning and the closing date. One of the things I really would like to emphasize is deadline is strict. Unfortunately, I've had in the past many terrible conversations with contract partners who were only 5 minutes too late. And they're like, oh, it was a technical difficulty. I'm really sorry, but I cannot allow you to participate in this tender. So if I say the deadline, especially the closing deadline, is very strict, really, do not try to do it at the last moment, because 1 minute too late is too late, and then it's over. So you have identified a business opportunity, and you can look at the tender documents, which disclose a lot. What are the steps for participating in a tender? You have to register in order to get all the assignments. You can search for them. You have to review the tender documents and assess the criteria, whether you would like to participate or not. Do not forget to ask questions. Then you can register for the specific tender and put in your offer. Then you just have to wait and see if you win the contract. I can imagine it might take a while, a couple of weeks before you know it. So just relax and wait. And then hopefully you can enter into a contract with the authority. After the everybody has put in their offers and the contracting authority made a choice, then the objection period starts. Look at the documents itself on how you can object if you don't got the contract. But if you do win, you enter into the agreement and you may carry out the agreement after the objection period. There is a lot to say about the legal consequences of the contact between a winner and the contracting authority during that objection period, but please do not be alarmed if you do not hear anything from the government during that period, because it's really tricky about what we can and cannot do in that period regarding the winner. So there's at least 20 days where we have to wait before the agreement can be carried out. Now, these are my tips, really. The first and main one, read the tender documents. Unfortunately, I've had to answer a lot of questions during a tender where the question was, what do you think? What do you think regarding such and so? And the answer was, please look at page whatever, because it's written there. So please do read the tender documents. It's not there for nothing. Stick to the procedure. Again, think about deadlines. Ensure you meet all requirements, criteria, and conditions. If you, because that will be the framework for the contract later on, the agreement. There will be no negotiations afterwards. It won't be like, oh, well, on second thought, we would like to have 1% more money, or can we do it in a different way? No, you have to meet the requirements, criteria, and conditions. There will also be in the tender documents something about awarding criteria, and that will be the ones that describe how you can win the tender and how you can get the assignment. So really read it, study it, and use that. Do not set any conditions for your registration. If you apply to the tender, that's it. Those are the requirements, criteria, and conditions. If you set any other conditions, it's not a valid application. So really try to understand that what's on paper, that's it. However, if you do not like, or if you have a problem with requirements, criteria, or conditions, there's always the possibility of a request for information. You can also suggest adjustments in those requirements, criteria, and conditions. Please remember that a lot of what's in the tender documents is really, people have thought about it, and there are a very those criteria are there on purpose. It's not just something that was put together haphazardly, but that we might just have overlooked something or not taken into account something that's very important for you. So please, if there are legal or other adjustments you would like, suggest them and tell us also then why. And if there are things not quite clear, ask questions. My experience is that not every company asks the right questions in that round, in the request for information. And then later on, they're like, yeah, but we did not understand that. Well, that's why you have to submit your questions. So that it will be clear. Note that all the answers will be publicly shared. We won't say that company such and such asked this question. We do not reveal names or something. We do reveal the questions, and we do reveal the answers, because that's about no favoritism, that all companies should have the same amount of information. Then you have the request for information, and afterwards you have some time to make an offer. If you make an offer, really look at all the requirements. One of the things is make sure that the documents are signed by the right people. Sometimes it's someone who's not qualified to put in an offer for that business. So that's really something you should take into account. Also remember, sometimes people are ill or on a holiday. You have to make sure that's no reason to be too late or not do it well enough, not the right way. And as I said, stick to the procedures, the deadlines. It might take a few days before your registration is completed. And so submit it well before the deadline. You don't want to be too late after you put in quite a lot of time and effort, probably. Now, the last one is, how do you outsmart your competitor? I think it's always quite easy. When we go, when we want to do a tender, we do market research. If you want to do business with the government, please do some government research. Know what bugs us, know what we're looking for, know our issues, know our challenges. How do you know it? Look at our webpage. There is a lot of publicly available information. about the tender specific or what we want to achieve. For example, in Haarlem, there is a lot written about the circular economy we want to achieve, about the climate change goals and what we find very important about it. So research the webpage. Also go to, for example, a council meeting or read notes of a council meeting, especially when there is a big budget involved. The council meeting will have discussed it, and most of the times it will be in public, and then you can hear what the thoughts were on that specific assignment with that specific budget. You can use that information to your advantage. It is publicly available information. You can do it, someone else can do it, but why not use it? Another thing is prepare well in advance. If you know what direction and developments we're going, adjust accordingly. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I had a meeting with a social enterprise, local social enterprise, about a tender that probably will be published in autumn. And I have not said anything that's not already publicly available. But I might have put things in an order and emphasize certain things that might help that business in order to prepare already now for a tender that will happen in the autumn, probably September or October. So they can already think about what kind of offer they will put in, because they already know which way we're going. And that's one of the reasons why it's really interesting to research the web page of the contracting authority, especially if they publish a purchasing calendar, or if they have discussed budgeting and where they're gonna spend their money on. And then you know what will happen, or you have an inclination and you can prepare for it. You can also work with other businesses if you think it might be a specific tender might be too big for your business alone. Of course, try to keep in mind the rules regarding cartels and competition, but I'm sure you will. Know that on the tenders electronic daily are the larger contracts that will be published. Smaller contracts might be tendered privately or directly by a government organization. You might ask them or ask that organization if you could be contacted about that, about certain contracts. So that might be something you would like to do, and know that it might not all be visible, and so you might need to approach it yourself. If you are applying for a tender, do not provide unnecessary information. It's a very bureaucratic process. We don't like to have a lot of paper. Unfortunately, we do have to have a lot of paper, but also know that answer the questions, answer the requirements, be precise, be clear about it, what you can do, but do not give a nice folder about how wonderful your company is. Great, wonderful, we won't look at it. And then, well, it's very clear. there are people behind it. It's always nice and good to show your interest and your knowledge in your offer, so we know that you are the one. And really, something is that I'll always give as a tip: use words, just the phrases as that we are using as well. That's a very simple way of showing that you have read and heard us and researched what we want. So knows what bugs us, knows our issues and challenges, and convince us that you are the one. Now, here are some European links where you can find information. Valentina already had about the PROCEDIN website. That's very interesting. About the ISMEA is about the Innovation Council. It's also very interesting. There's the second one from above, the single market economy, is specifically for SMEs, where you can find a lot of information. And the top one is via the Tenders Electronic Daily, where I have put a screenshot of the legislation and useful links where you can find a lot of other information. And just finished in time, I hope. And if you have any questions, remarks, whatever, please feel free to say something. I hope it was clear.
Wow, Sanne, that was amazing.
Oh, right.
Truly, truly insightful. I think you covered every aspect that that is there, and of course, it was so systematically done. I really applaud you. So, thank you very much for joining us and for also for sharing your knowledge, your experience, and being open to questions. I will be sharing my screen again, but in the meantime, I also invite everyone to write their questions if there are any in the chat, as Sanne has covered every aspect and left you not so much to wonder about.
It might be, I don't know.
It was really amazing. So I do invite people also, if they want to ask a question, if normally without writing it, you can also raise your hand and ask a question. Louise, please.
Thanks very much, Sanne. That was really, really interesting presentation. I was wondering whether you would have any different tips for contrasting companies that are supplying goods versus services.
Do I have there? I think it depends on the specific goods and services, to be fair. There are slight differences, but not some general rules or tips I can think of right now. So my main tip is read the expletive manual. That's really the main tip. If you want to go to write a tender, read all the documents, because it tells everything if it's right, if it's good to know. So that's really the main tip I would give. And then you can also see the differences, if there are, between the procurement of services or supplies or public work. So read the manual, please. I'm sorry, that's all. I don't have...
No. I just thought maybe there were some differences, or I don't know, quite often maybe there's more of a presumption of a need to have a local supplier, someone nearby to help with service contracts, because you can't deliver the service unless you're reasonably close by.
Then you go into the particularities of a specific contract. If we are above the European threshold for procurement, we cannot say we would like to have a local company. Well, we can say, but it wouldn't be legal. We cannot say that. However, for example, the Municipality of Zandvoort, where I'm also working for, is a coastal town. with a lot of traffic during especially the summer. So if there is something going on there, like a road that needs to be secured right away because of safety issues or whatever, then it is, from the subject of the matter, very important to have at least some hub or a part of the company in the town itself, because if we have to wait with all the traffic jams, especially during the summer before the company will be there, it would be a disaster, because we're dealing with safety. So in that way, we can say, we are not saying it has to be a local company, but you have to be able to respond to emergencies within 10 or 15 minutes. So it's really a lot of things really depend on the subject of the matter and the conditions of the matter itself, of the contract.
So this is where your tip about being a subcontractor and thinking ahead about which companies you might offer your services to in order to deliver what is ultimately a public contract, but you're not directly servicing the contract.
And especially in the Netherlands, we have something called social return on investment, where we have, as part of our social goals, we like to include unemployed people in the execution of a contract. And that means that we sometimes need social enterprises to be involved in the contract. However, there might be a difference between a company that can execute the contract matter and having the right background for such as a social enterprise. One of the top things, if you are a social enterprise and you want to do business in the Netherlands, please look also at contracts that you might not want to apply to directly, because there's a very good business opportunity as a subcontractor because of a specific Dutch situation, which, by the way, I know that the French and the Spanish are also very interested in, and perhaps more, but that's a way as a subcontractor to really get your revenue as a social enterprise or a business.
Thank you very much, Luis, for the questions, but also Sanne for sharing your experience on the matter and best practices. If we do not have any more questions, please do raise your hand if you do. If not, we will continue. And also provide you with a possibility to ask questions afterwards with our innovation procurement community that we are setting up. So the innovation procurement community, it is envisaged to offer a platform that you can showcase your products and services as a startup or, well, as a supplier, and demonstrate your capabilities to potential buyers, of course, public buyers as well. Also, we would like to enrich capacity building opportunities to offer you workshops, not just the one that you are participating right now, but also the ones in the future, and to tailor-made them according to your needs. As you know, we are here all to support building capabilities in innovation procurement, and also to help you navigate the procurement processes with these. And last but definitely not least, when it comes to the community, of course, we would like to offer networking opportunities, organize events and forums within the industry, so you can meet with peers and build good partnerships. So in case you are interested, there is this QR code. We will also share the link down below, but also Valentina has showcased where to find it on the website. So if you go to PROCEDIN.eu and click Get Involved, it will lead you to the page where everything is explained, what you can gain from the community, and also how to register. When it comes to future workshops and training sessions regarding B2G and unlocking government related businesses, let's say it like that, and how to be successful at it, we still have 2 sessions left. So we did have already the introduction. Now Sanne has let us know how that works in practice and how you can kick off your B2G model. And then on May 29th, there will be a session on how to build partnerships and how to build a consortia for joint participation in innovation procurement. And later on in June 26th, we will have a legal insights workshop, so you can learn how to navigate through regulations in different countries and in general. So you may see that we do organize the sessions every 2 weeks or so. So mid of June is missing here, but for a very good reason, as we are organizing innovation procurement conference focused on scaling up innovation procurement in Europe. It will be organized jointly by several projects and initiatives that are dealing with innovation procurement and that are helping the European ecosystem grow in this matter. So it will be organized on June 18th in Brussels. The event is free of charge, and of course, every person that is interested in innovation procurement or have needs to learn more about it is welcome to join us in Brussels. The registrations are already open. So if you go to iptf.eu, you will learn there more about the conference, more about the partners organizing it, the brief agenda, and also the ways for you to register. Once again, the event is free of charge, so we do expect you to come and celebrate and learn how to scale up innovation procurement. So if there are no more further questions, I would like to thank you for joining this workshop. I would like also to thank Valentina for giving us the introduction, and also to Sanne for giving us a great lecture, I would say, on innovation procurement and how to do business with public authorities and governments. So thank you very much. This is all for today.